All right, we're going to talk about polynomials. This will be an introduction to polynomials. It shouldn't take too long. Just want to talk about some terminology. All right, if you have this thing we know is an expression, right? This expression does have a variable in it with the x. It does have a coefficient. It does have an exponent. But altogether, this is an expression. It happens to only have one term in it. So it's an expression with one term. Remember, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So I'll just say right here, separated by addition or subtraction. Let me put those in quotes. That's what terms are. Since there are no additions or subtraction signs in here, this is just one term. If I gave you, for example, 3x squared plus 2, then all of a sudden we do have an expression, but it has two terms because there's an addition sign there. The fact that you have a term, you might see the word expression, or you might see the word polynomial. Poly implies many, and then nomial we're going to take to mean terms, right? So if I had an expression or a polynomial with one term, so if I had one term, we call that specifically a monomial, right? The mono part implies just one. Two terms, we call it a binomial because bi implies two. Excuse me. Three terms, we call that a trinomial, as you might imagine, because the tri implies three. Four terms, we don't have a special name for it. We just say a polynomial with four terms. There is no special name for that. All right, so a polynomial is just an expression with multiple terms. Now I could ask you a few things about polynomials. For example, I can ask you about the degree of a polynomial. And what the degree of a polynomial is, sorry, let me write this. Can't do two things at one time. If I ask you about the degree of a polynomial, I'm really asking you for the sum of the exponents of the variables. Sorry, the sum of the exponents of the variables. Now I'm really only concerned about of each term. All right, so let me give you an example. If I use the example that we have up top here, 3x squared plus 2, 3x squared plus 2, I have two terms, but the degree of this polynomial will only really come from this term because it's the only one with the variable. All right, so because of that, I would say that my degree is, and I would just add up all of the exponents of all the variables. Well, in this case, we only have one variable, one exponent, degree is 2. All right. If I did something like 3x squared y to the third plus 4x to the fifth y to the second, I now have a binomial. And if I ask you for the degree, I would look for the highest degree of either of those. The degree for this one, let me use red. The degree for this one will be 5. The degree for this one will be 7. I'm looking at this and this, this and this. So the degree for the whole thing is equal to 7, the highest of the two. The only other thing you should concern yourself with is standard form, and that just means writing it in the order of the degrees. Okay, so the highest degree first, and then list it after that.